Hi guys, welcome to this short presentation on Hancock et al. 2011, Part 2, Language of Psychopaths, and this is for the OCR A2 Psychology spec. The sample consisted of 52 men who were being held in prison in Canada for murder. All of the participants had admitted their crime and had volunteered to take part in this study. Their mean age at the time of murder for which they had been imprisoned was 28.9 years. To differentiate between which of the 52 participants could be deemed psychopathic and those who were not psychopaths, assessments were made using the Psychopathy Checklist Revised, the PCLR. In this measure, psychopathy is characterized by 20 criteria scored from 0 to 2 for a maximum score of 40. Items on the PCLR measure traits in two broad areas. Factor 1 items assess interpersonal and affective traits such as superficial charm, lack of remorse, and pathological lying. Factor 2 items assess traits that indicate an antisocial lifestyle, such as early behavioral problems, impulsivity, and irresponsibility. For 39 of the murderers, the assessments were completed by extensively trained prison psychologists. However, for the other 13 murderers, assessments were not available in their prison files, so a researcher who was well trained in the coding of the PCLR completed these. In order to check that the different raters were consistent with each other, a trained student recoded 10 case files selected on a random basis. The results from this conveyed a high level of agreement between their codings. The cutoff point for a clinical diagnosis of psychopathy is a score of 30 or above. However, in line with practice in research by other psychologists, a person was classified as a psychopath in this study if they had a score of 25 or above. On this basis, 14 of the offenders were classified as a psychopath in this study, and 38 were considered not to be psychopaths. The two groups did not differ significantly either in age or the amount of time since the murder was committed, and as you can see by this table, the mean age of the psychopaths was 39.71 years compared to the non-psychopaths 39.91 years, and the amount of time since the murder was committed did not differ that much either, so they're very similar groups. To collect data, the participants were interviewed. The interviews were led by two senior psychology graduate students and one research student. All were blind to the psychopathy scores of the offenders. At the start of each interview, the purpose of the study, to examine the manner in which homicide offenders recall their homicide offences, was explained to each offender verbally, as well as the procedure that would be followed. The participants were then asked to describe their homicide offence in as much detail as possible, from beginning to end, omitting no details. The interviews were audio taped and lasted approximately 25 minutes. Afterwards, the narratives were turned into typed transcripts, with efforts being made to make these word for word. Data analysis. Two text analysis tools were used to analyze the transcripts. One, a corpus analysis program called the W-matrix, in which the speech produced by all of the 14 psychopaths was brought together and analysed as one in comparison to the speech produced by all of the 38 non-psychopaths. To analyse these, two features of the W-matrix were used. One, to tag parts of the speech, e.g. nouns, verbs and adjectives. Two, to analyse semantic concepts, e.g. language and communication, social actions, states and processes, time, etc. The extent to which there is a significant difference between the two bodies of text produced by the two conditions is expressed in the W-matrix as a log likelihood ratio. 2. The other text analysis program that was used was the Dictionary of Effect in Language, the DAL. This is a dictionary-based tool that assesses the emotional properties of language. On this program, each participant's transcript was analysed individually, with a score being given for the pleasantness and intensity of emotional language in each statement. The 14 psychopaths' narratives together amounted to a corpus of 29,562 words, averaging 2,201.5 words per participant, while the non-psychopath narratives amounted to a corpus of 97,814 words, averaging 2,554.3 words per participant. With regard to the three characteristics of the offender's language that Hancock et al. Analysed, they found the following. 1. With instrumental language analysis, psychopaths produce significantly more subordinating conjunctions than the non-psychopaths. Such words made up 1.82% of the words used by psychopaths, but only 1.54% of the words used by non-psychopaths. 2. hierarchy of needs analysis, the results paired up with the expectations of the researchers. These psychopaths use significantly more words connected to basic physiological needs, such as money, food and water and clothing. The non-psychopaths use more words connected to social needs, such as family and religion, than the psychopaths. 3. Emotional expression in language. The speech produced by the psychopaths contains approximately 33% more disfluencies, such as and than the non-psychopaths. With regard to psychological distancing, the psychopaths use a significantly higher number of verbs in the past tense than non-psychopaths, and articles, such as a and the, made up a significantly higher percentage of the speech produced by the psychopaths. With regard to the emotional context of language, examination of the DAL scores revealed no significant difference between the two groups. However, when the DAL scores were analysed again, based not on each participant's total PCL-R score, but simply Factor 1 score, interpersonal and affective deficits, it was found that there was a negative correlation between Factor 1 scores and both the pleasantness and intensity of emotional language used by the participants. Conclusions. Hancock et al. Conclude from the idiosyncratic way in which psychopaths describe powerful emotional events, their crimes, that they operate on a primitive but rational level. There's a quick overview of Hancock et al. For you. I hope you made some notes as I went through, and I'm sorry if I spoke a bit fast, but thank you for watching, and I'll be making some more videos, so thank you, and make sure you check those out.